Hello Neighbor and Punch Club publisher TinyBuild has secured $15 million in series funding from UNAMEDIA Invest, as reported by Gamasutra. The cash will be used to bring in some new hires and expand the company's franchises and publishing efforts. TinyBuild is currently looking to bolster its internal development, production, and porting teams, and is expected to use the funds to make hires in those areas. It's also focused on creating multimedia franchises that can exist across a variety of mediums, including books and television. Beyond that, the publisher wants to invest in new projects with innovative features, and is particularly keen to unearth games based on popular mods, with the company viewing mods as the foundation on which the now uber popular Battle Royale genre was built. Legislators from the state of Pennsylvania have reintroduced a bill that would impose a 10% tax on adult and mature video games sold at retail. House Bill No. 109 explains the 10% tax would be levied in addition to any other applicable state and local sales taxes, and that all retailers who fail to collect the tax will be liable for a penalty. The cash would be put into a new digital protection for school safety account and used to enhance safety measures in school districts across Pennsylvania. As pointed out by Variety, this is the second time the bill has been bandied about. It was first introduced last October by Rep. Christopher B. Quinn, who suggested those titles should be taxed because of the purported links between video games and violence, particularly in schools. Following its revival, the bill has been referred to the House of Representatives Finance Committee, but not everyone is happy to see it return. The Entertainment Software Association claims the bill is a violation of the U.S. Constitution, and dismissed Quinn's assertions that mature games are responsible for certain school violence. The U.S. Supreme Court made clear in Brown v. Entertainment Merchants Association Entertainment Software Association that video games are entitled to the full protection of the Constitution, and that efforts, like Pennsylvania's, to single out video games based on their content will be struck down. As told Variety, numerous authorities, including scientists, medical professionals, government agencies, and the United States Supreme Court, found that video games do not cause violence. We encourage Pennsylvania legislators to work with the stories, awareness about parental controls and the video game rating system, which are effective tools to ensure parents maintain control over the video games played in their home. Playground Games has patched out a couple dance emotes from Forza Horizon 4 to moves that coincidentally have become the subject of a lawsuit against the Fortnite developer Epic Games. Both the cartoon and floss emotes have been cut from the game as of today, with only a short and sweet mention of the removal in the game's patch notes. Playground Games does not offer any sort of reason for the sudden removal, but it's fair to assume that the decision was prompted by a handful of lawsuits that have been levied against Fortnite developer Epic Games over dances being sold as Fortnite emotes, allegedly without the permission of or compensation for the dances. Creators Alfonso Ribeiro, known for his portrayal of Carlton Banks in the show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, filed a lawsuit against Epic Games late last year for the game's Fresh Prince emote, a move that shares unmistakable similarities to Ribeiro's now iconic Carlton dance. Russell Honing, known as Backpack Kid, followed suit shortly after, and filed his own lawsuit over his dance move. The floss appearing in the game under the same name. Nothing seems to indicate at this time that Playground Games or Microsoft are facing similar lawsuits, so it's likely that the removal was more of a preventative measure, following those other cases. Set in 1968, Morpheus III takes place during one of the most turbulent years in American history, from the assassination of J.F. Martin Luther King, Jr., to growing outrage over the war in Vietnam. The country's fault lines were exposed and threatened to tear the United States apart. In this DD 2017 talk, Hangar 13, as William Hams discusses how the team used real history to inform more tedious characters on overarching narrative, and the decisions that drove the inclusion of sensitive issues such as the era's racial tensions. It was an insightful talk that's definitely still worth watching, so developers should not miss the opportunity to do so now that it's freely available on the official GD YouTube channel. In addition to this presentation, TinyBuild Vault and its accompanying YouTube channel offers numerous other free videos, audio recordings, and slides from many of the recent game developers conference events, and the service offers even more members-only content for GD Vault subscribers. Those who purchased all access passes to recent events, like GD Vault, already have full access to GD Vault, and interested parties can apply for the individual subscription via the GD Vault subscription page. Group subscriptions are also available. Game-related schools and development studios who sign up for GD Vault Studio subscriptions can receive access for their entire office or company by contacting staff via the GD Vault Group subscription page. Finally, current subscribers with access issues can contact GD Vault technical support. Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company Informa. Sales and profits are done at Square Enix, which just posted its financials for the 9 months ended December 31st,
2018.
Consolidated net sales dipped by 8% year-on-year to 179.1 billion yuan, $1.6 billion, while profits decreased by 61% to 8.9 billion yuan, $81.1 million, over the same period. That downturn is partly due to the restructuring of Luminous Productions, which saw Square book an extraordinary loss of 2.7 billion yuan, $33.7 million. Looking at the company's digital entertainment segment, which houses its video game operations, net sales over the past 9 months dropped by 9.1% to 113.5 billion yuan, $1.2 billion, while operating income fell by 59.3% to 14.8 billion yuan, $135.7 million. That's despite a strong showing from new releases, like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Just Cause 4, and Octopath Traveler, which actually bumped up quarterly net sales, despite not being able to offset a long-term decline on the smart device and PC browser front. Many of Square's newer titles struggled to meet expectations and failed to generate additional revenue on top of existing games. A decrease in licensing income and an increase in advertising spend also contributed to a year-on-year decline in net sales and operating income. Square claims it must now focus on selected titles and releasing games that utilize existing properties in order to create new hits and reinvigorate its smart device and browser business. In the area of massively multiplayer online games, net sales and operating income also decreased on the previous year, largely due to lack new releases and expansions. Moving forward, Square expects net sales and profits to hit 270 billion yuan, $46 billion, and 175 1 billion yuan, $6 billion, respectively by the end of the fiscal year, on March 31st.
2019
Everything developer David O'Reilly's Everything, a follow-up to his 2014 game Mountain, is an unconventional open-world game that does not rely on quests or other familiar design tropes to get players to navigate the world. Instead, it builds a game world that exists from the largest to smallest most possible levels and encourages players to become every object in those environments, which range from planets to lions to buildings to cells to one-dimensional objects. It's not a game with a win state per Southeast, and it does not encourage any competition or conflict. But as O'Reilly explained to us today on the Gamasutra Twitch channel, there was a lot of thought put into the game's seemingly undriven nature. For one, O'Reilly says the game largely became possible after experimenting in different game engines and realizing it was possible to bring any object into life. I got really excited about every object in the universe being a playable character. O'Reilly told us that led to thinking about groups of things, and how everything is a member of a group. Leaving at that, O'Reilly also felt like there was a link between this kind of experimentation and the works created in the early days of animation, when 2D animators worked to bring all kinds of objects to life, even ones that had no life at all.